Hey everyone, it's Jessie G here. Welcome back to my channel. If you are new to my channel or you're new to this series in general, hi, I'm Jessie G. I'm a mobile gamer. I'm a podcast series host, and I'm also do 12 facts where I talk about 12 facts of anything, even if it's an episode that I've done and I've dug deep into it and I found some really interesting facts about it, or if I've come up with something pretty interesting about a movie or a historical place, I do that too. And if you're interested in that type of content, please hit that red subscribe button and that notification bell so you'll be notified as to when I upload videos in the future. And also, go check me out on all of my social medias. They're always listed in the description box below, all of my episodes. Also, don't forget to read the copyright disclaimer and any warnings that I stick in any of my videos, including this one, because those are really important regardless of what happens. They are there for a reason, for my safety reasons, for safety reasons for other people, and they're there just to cover the channel so people are made aware of it. YouTube's made aware of it. Everybody's safe. It is what it is. I know I don't necessarily have to put those in there, but all honesty, it's just for my peace of mind. So please feel free to go read that before you start watching today's episode. Today's episode is a 12 facts episode. This is part number 6. This is also a special edition episode because I'm going to be chit chatting with you guys about some stuff that's been going down, and also do 12 facts about Ann Lister. I did do a series or episode on her, and I will leave that in the description box below this uh, episode if you guys really want to go check it out. I'll leave it in the description for you guys. And I list all of my equipment that I use, the photo apps that I use, the editing software, everything in the description, so you guys could go check that out if you wish. Um, so without further ado, let's get into today's episode. Oh my goodness, you guys. It has been crazy. Um, so we're gonna kind of chit chat for a bit, and then towards the end we'll get into some 12 facts about Ann Lister, and we'll end on a pretty interesting note for today's episode. um, it's been crazy. It's been a crazy 2 months, so to speak. I moved, and it was a big change. Granted, it wasn't out of the state or anything, but it was a big enough change. I was dealing with that and dealing with the process in that, and just trying to get used to my surroundings again, and dealing with the emotions that went behind it, and just everything in general. And I just decided I needed to take a step back from my social media platform for a while. There was a couple of episodes that I had intentionally wanted to put out, but it never happened. So I'm gonna put them out this month along with some October videos, hopefully. Um, I got a couple of movie reviews and a couple of paranormal things I have in mind. I just gotta go check them out and get everything written down for you guys. So I don't miss anything important, but sometimes you just do. It just happens with any episode, no matter how much you have researched on anything, you're bound to miss something. It just happens. But you try to put everything out there that you could possibly put out there, so there's that. Not only has there been a lot going on with Jessie G, there's been a lot going on in the YouTube community. There was also a lot going on in the TikTok community as well. Um, there was a sweet, lovely, caring woman who went through a really drastic change, and her whole world got turned completely upside down. And she is known on TikTok as Mama Tot, and she went through a huge, drastic change in her life, and it turned everything upside down, and it affected everything, and it blew all over the news. It was all over the news. It was everywhere, and it was the hardest thing I think any parent would ever have to go through when they lose a child to anything, and she had the biggest heart in the whole world, and even despite going through this, she still managed to be there for other people, but also be there for herself and take care of herself and do what she needed to do for her family as well. And she's just a genuinely good person. Also, there's been a lot going on in the YouTube community. A very genuinely funny young woman um, went through another big life change. And you know me, when anytime I talk about somebody passing or somebody going through something, everybody goes through it differently. Everybody deals with grief differently. Everybody just deals with things in life differently. And with that said, her name is Steph Pappas, if I'm saying her last name right. If I'm not, don't come at me. I'm not good with names. Don't come at me. It happens. Um, she recently went through a big change in her life that turned her family and everything upside down. You know how people in school are always telling you to never drink and drive and never drive under the influence of anything, or always watch where you're going, whether you're under the influence or not. Always be careful, always drive safe, always do what you gotta do, and be safe for yourself as well as other people. Well, honestly, in this case, it wasn't for Steph Papa's parents and her beloved dog Cookie. They were in a really bad car accident, and it took the life of her father and her beloved dog Cookie. It almost had taken her mom, but by the grace of God, she lived through the accident and has been recovering ever since September. And she's been going through ups and downs with her family as well, and along with Steph as well. She's been posting a lot of videos with her dad in it, and just sharing her grief with everybody, and getting through it the best way she knows how to get through it. And I send my deepest sympathies to her and her family at this time, and I hope that she gets through this, because it's never easy, and it never gets easy when you lose a loved one or somebody you're really close to. But I hope that she gets through this with her family, and I hope her family can continue to heal and get through all of this. And I wish her mom a really big, speedy recovery. I hope recovers good. I hope everything goes good for her. And with that said, let's get into the 12 facts episode part of today's series. um, Today's 12 facts is all about Amlister. Now, as I was saying before the show started, that I had recently done an episode about her, but there was a couple of facts in here that I really didn't put into the episode. I really didn't go into specifics of everything, because you kind of have to watch it with YouTube. So I really didn't want to go into specifics of everything, but I went into it enough to where you guys pretty much got the Cliff Notes version in a way. So these will just kind of deep dive into it a little bit more, but it'll just give you some 12 facts to learn about her as a person and as who she was. Fact number one: Anne was always different, and what they mean by different is she lived in a world that wasn't ready for somebody like her, and she lived in a world that you had to be a certain way, do a certain thing, and society stared down their noses at a lot of people who were different. And she was different not because she was a lesbian woman or because she was gay. It was because she was just different as a person in general. Her fashion spoke of her personality and how different she was. She was always a businesswoman. and women really never did business. They were always good for just doing art and being mothers and all of that and being married. They never really had much that they could do in life. They couldn't even really get much of an education like men could. But Anne was always railing against it, so that's what made her different from everybody. And just the fact that her ambitious personality and what she wanted to go after and how she wanted to live and what she wanted to do with her life, that's also what made her different. And also other things in her life made her different as well. Fact number two, she was very obsessive. When I mean by obsessive is meaning she was obsessive with how her days went, of who she was with. She would write decoded things in her journals of every single detail of her day to a T. Everything was written down to a T. There was nothing left out of it. She wrote about everything in her diaries. Everything, every day, what she did, what she ate, what the weather was like, what the temperature was, everything. I mean, every single detail that she could think of or muster, she would write about. Um, Fact number three, Anne used her love of books and her love for other things as a chemistry test anytime that she would meet a woman and she might think that there was some potential or some chemistry between them or there might be something between them. She would use her love of books and just her love for anything to see if this person or this woman was compatible with her, and that's what she did with Anne Walker, and they seem to have had chemistry, and you know everything just went from there. um, Fact number four, Anne never or rarely wore women's clothing. She never really wore the formal boofy dresses like those in those times in the 1800s. She wore she wore skirts nonetheless, but she always wore a vest. She always wore a man's type shirt and a tie all the time. She wore a black all the time. She had a top hat. Um, she wore top hats. She was rarely in color, and she always wore black. Always wore black. Even the wedding, she always wore black. That was her thing. Um, and she rarely wore women's dresses. There was probably a couple of times in her diary where it was mentioned that she did wear dresses here and there because of certain places you had to. But other than that, she was mainly seen in a black skirt and a black jacket, a vest, and a shirt. That was her. Um, Fact number six. Anne managed. Hold on a second here. Anne's marriage to Anne Walker was the first known recorded same-sex marriage in the 1800s, even though it technically really wasn't legal or legal or illegal, whichever one it was, because back then it was forbidden for people to have any sexual contact with the same sex. It was considered a crime. You would get prison time for it. Um, or they would hang you for it, even, if I want to go far as to say that. Um, they kind of got married in secret, and she wrote about it. And, she wrote about everything. Um, Even her first real love, Mary Anna Lowton, if I'm saying her name right. Um, she even went into details about her and about Anne Walker and about her struggles with finding love and everything as well. So it was the first recorded ever actual marriage of her time. Um, so it was pretty interesting. No, fact number seven, Anne Lister wrote over 700 pages in her diary. There were 700-page entries of her diary. There was decoded things everywhere of her entire life in 700 pages. That is a lot. That is really a lot. And they're still decoding some of them to this day. And even the author who wrote about Anne, who studied Anne, she took nearly a decade trying to study Anne and decipher the codes that Anne used in her diaries as well. So that was interesting too. Fact number 8. Anne was an anatomy student. She basically studied under a doctor, even though she couldn't go to college, to Oxford, or any other college or school for that matter, because she was a woman. She studied under many mentors, and that's how she had her love for anatomy, astrology, science, that type of thing, and traveling even. So that's how she kind of had her love for things. So Anne was a very smart woman, a very ambitious woman. She was very talked about, which we would call it an entrepreneur. She was a very motivated, driven woman, so to speak. Fact number 9. Anne Lister was an accomplished mountaineer for her ascendant on Mount Pedro in 1830. When she ascended that big, huge mountain, she was known for it for a long time because that was a huge mountain to go up, and Anne went up it. Anne loved to travel a lot, as you guys would know if you watched the Gentleman Jack series. She loved to travel a lot. Traveling was her thing. Even if it was to get away from something, or whatever it may be, or whatever the circumstances she was under, she was always traveling. That was her thing, to travel, and did it. Fact number 10. Some of her journals that she had written in when they did the Gentleman Jack series, they had to decipher some of her journals more than once, because they wanted to make sure not only that they got it right, that it was just so hard to really exactly put into details as to what she was writing, that they had to do it twice. So that was really interesting. Fact number 11. There have been many books, many series written about Anne Lister over the years. There was a lot that was done based on her life and based on her journals and everything, and based on who she was as a person. So there was a lot of things written and done about her. Fact number 12. This one's kind of a tragic, sad fact in a way. Um, when Anne Lister or Anne Walker, whichever one of them would have passed away, they would leave each other's inheritance, or each other's uh, land or whatnot. Whatever, with the things that you would leave somebody normally in a will, that's what they redid their wills for, and that's what they chose to leave each other. Well, when Anne Lister suddenly passed away unexpectedly, Anne left everything to Anne Walker, her estate, everything. And sadly, because of Anne Walker's mental health decline, and because of the grief stricken that she was over Anne Lister's death, sorry, over Anne Lister's death, she ended up losing everything that Anne had left her, and it went to the next person in line. It went to a cousin, supposedly a cousin or an uncle or some sort. It went to the next family member in line, and Anne spent time in a mental hospital, and then supposedly went to live with a doctor, and then after that she finally moved home and lived with her family until her death. Supposedly, it was due to some brain complications and other health complications that caused Anne Walker to pass away. Um, but she outlived Anne, and also the tragic part was that she had to accompany Anne's body back to Anne's estate in Halifax. So that was pretty traumatizing for her. So people think that's part of what played into her mental health spiral. So that is all the 12 facts about Ann Lister. I hope you learned something. I hope you guys enjoyed the chit chat. I hope you guys enjoyed the whole bonus special edition episode of the 12 facts series. I hope you guys enjoyed everything. And please don't forget to give this video or this episode a thumbs up because it really helps out my channel. It really lets me know that you guys are really engaged in everything and that you guys are really enjoying these. Also, if you're new and interested in any type of my content or any of this content that you see, I should say, feel free to hit that red subscribe button and that notification bell so you'll always be notified as to when I upload videos in the future. Also, don't forget to go check me out on all of my social medias and stay tuned for other episodes and other things for this October. I hope you guys have a nice evening or afternoon or day or night wherever you are watching this from. And I will catch you guys in my next episode or 12 Facts series. Later.